Hey guys, today we'll be ranking the new Megas from Pokemon Legends ZA from a VGC standpoint. For those who don't know, I am a 3-time regional champion in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and have never played an official VGC format with Megas before. While I do understand how the games work, I thought it would be best for me to invite a guest over who knows Megas more than anyone else, James Evans, 2018 Senior World Champion and this year's Worlds finalist. Obviously, this video will have some minor spoilers of the new Megas, so if you haven't finished the game yet, make sure to watch this video after. I have to start with Victreebel. I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of disappointed. I really thought this guy would be maybe a little bit better, but
It's frustrating because Victreebel is not a good Pokemon to begin with for the most part. It's got like good stats for a Gen 1 Pokemon. It's like a solid mixed attacker, but in competitive, being a mixed attacker is kind of a death sentence. It's just not good at anything, really. The stats are arguably like they're fine, but it's kind of in the middle of like two speed tiers where it's like not slow enough to really abuse Trick Room like other Pokemon can, and it's not really fast enough to do anything on its own. Like it needs Tailwind or something to really things taken care for it.
I completely agree. It's like way too slow, and like if it loses Chlorophyll too, then it's like it's one like good niche I think it had before. It's just not like great anymore, right?
If it gets Chlorophyll, it could be pretty threatening. I think 70 speed is enough to the point where like if you have some form of speed control with it, at least if you're moving first, it's like not bad. It just doesn't really help that its stats are not like perfectly allocated. Like I would say, like it gets a 20 attack that you're not using. It's just tough because generally it's fighting for, I would say if it is a Chlorophyll user, it's fighting for like that versus like base form Venusaur, which doesn't have to Mega Evolve, and Venusaur also gets to Mega Evolve and do something else like completely different.
Yeah, I was gonna say it kind of feels like worse Venusaur because it has a similar move kit of the grass poison stab, and then it gets Sleep Powder and Wonder Ball. But Venusaur also has like Earth Power too, so it actually has like some better coverage all around than Victreebel. And I mean, like if Victreebel, like if it's not Chlorophyll, maybe it could be a different ability. But like if it does keep Chlorophyll, it's completely kind of outclassed by Venusaur. It could be something cute,
like Solar Power or something, but I would say at that point people probably just run Charizard.
Right, yeah. Of all the Sunmons you can run, it kind of feels like Victreebel's probably a little on the more middling end, sadly. So I'm not very impressed by it. I think it's like a C or D, probably D in my opinion.
I think it's like probably a D- Pokemon. I would say like maybe not D-, but like C-, because like it does have things going for it, but I just can't imagine you could ever use them over something else accessible already.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, just because of that, I think I'm putting a D. It's like maybe C- like upper D+, but like I think he's probably more in the D end based off like what
once we start getting into the plus and minuses, then it will get beautifully confusing.
Yes, exactly. And next we got Greninja, and this is what I'm really excited about. Greninja also got some cool moves. It got Flip Turn, which I think is kind of nice. It's like a fast pivot, and also got like Nasty Plot. I feel like with 133, that's really strong, and like if you have Battle Bomb before you get your boost, and then you Mega Evolve as well, I feel like that could also be kind of scary. Depends on like what the ability is as well, but like I feel like this guy could be really strong. Like the speed tier is like kind of nuts. 142.
Greninja's an interesting Pokemon to me because I would say I've played for a while now, and it was like a Pokemon you could use previously. Like people used it in, I want to say 2015. They used it in 2018 a little bit. It's never been like absurdly broken, but it's been pretty niche in VGC. And every time it's kind of been like this weird mixed attack support. Like, and I've mentioned previously, like being a mixed attacker and competitive is kind of a death sentence, but Greninja can kind of make it work better. This is kind of just better Dragapult, I would argue. The typing is a lot better offensively than I would argue Dragapult's is. Water and Dark are just two nice offensive types, especially in VGC. The speed stat is amazing. It outruns a ton of common threats, especially post Gen 9, where we have a lot of Pokemon in like the 130, 135 speed range. If I'm not mistaken, this actually speed ties Dragapult. It's still very frail, even with a +10 to both defenses. So the best comparison to me, for me, other than Dragapult, is probably Fluttermane, because it has about Fluttermane's special attack stat, and it's probably just as frail if you hit it with the right things.
Any move bust, any fighting type, any grass type.
Yeah. So like it can definitely be threatening with a Nasty Plot setup, I would imagine, but probably it's gonna have to utilize things like Clefairy or something with like Friend Guard to really kind of get the most going out of it. Either that or something like Helping Hand. If this gets the right ability, it could absolutely be threatening.
Yeah. I mean, I would assume Greninja can get a decent ability. But like,
it could get Protean again, and that's just like have fun dealing with that.
Yeah. So I mean, you mentioned a lot about the old Greninja, like getting like map block and stuff, and like the old Protean sets. Like the only Greninja I know is like the Water Shuriken one with the haze and like Rain Dance, and like they use these guys like a pure support guy with like you pair like Arch, right, and like where is that? Like, Arch here, so you like Proximina. But yeah, like obviously if you're running Mega Gren, you can't run loaded dice, right? I think that becomes kind of a really big problem for it. So like you can't like do the self proc stuff more often. So like I think like it's more linear towards as a strong special sweeper. But if you can pull it off with red support, it does seem quite strong. The question is like, can you pull it off, right? So
I agree. The best megas are generally going to just kind of throw out attacks, or their support options very fast and very fluidly into a team build. Now it's okay. I have to build my whole team around Greninja. Getting the setup oftentimes because I'm going all in on my Mega being the strongest Pokemon, as opposed to it just being another part of the comp.
Yeah, I think like that's gonna be like what's gonna probably hold it back, unless it gets like a really busted ability. But for what we've seen so far, like as a Glass Cannon, there's a lot of Glass Cannon Pokemon that don't require Astro support, as we kind of talked about. So
Agreed.
Like it could be like, I mean, it's definitely better for Victreebel by a long shot, but
it's way better.
But like the question is like where it's gonna be like I think like either B or C. Like it has.
I
like,
can imagine
really...
this guy. I think probably like bottom of B. I think this guy is gonna be like really scary in singles.
This one I'm excited about.
Oh boy.
Delphox.
Yeah.
So like it gets expanded force now. And these aren't all the new moves, but like, these are kind of the things like I put that kind of stand out for me, because I think what Delphox kind of reminds me of is sort of like how Megazam. Like I never played Megazam before, but like, I know that Megazam kind of appreciates as like a really frail attacker that's fast and can click the strong second moves and not be expanding force, right? But what Zam lacks is having reliable good coverage moves, right? And fire is a really good way of kind of getting rid of the steel types for it, right? I feel that like if this guy ever gets like Psychic Surge as his ability too, I feel like it can be even crazier.
Oh my god!
But even if it doesn't have Psychic Surge, I feel like as it just like we've seen how strong EDD plus like Expanding Force guys are, right? Like this could also be a really great partner. So
I wholeheartedly agree. I think Delphox is probably one of the biggest winners of this whole mega draft of Pokemon. It just has all the stats in the right place. It gets nothing to its first 3 stats, like all of its physical stats. It essentially just gets the Flutter Mane buff, where it's like, have extras, like, special attack, speed F, and speed. And that's where everything goes. It's very, very good in terms of that. It basically just got everything it wanted. 75-72 for what is basically a Glass Cannon size spam Pokemon is not atrocious, especially if it's a Mega. Fire and Psychic is not a bad typing either. It just gets to do a lot. It gets to function a lot with things like Sun, and even just if the opponent has it, it can kind of spell a lot of trouble. And in terms of the ability, I think, funnily enough, like, Psychic Surge was the first thing I thought of, because I was considering just like, okay, they really gave this Pokemon everything at once. They're just going to give it an ability at once, too. The other thing I thought of that it could possibly get, funnily enough, is Levitate.
Oh my god. Because it flies. Yeah.
Which would just completely ruin the Expanding Force angle.
Right.
But it is also just, like, kind of an insane ability on its own. Getting Levitate is always just, like, a nice buff.
Right.
It's very hard to argue with.
Right.
But no, I think Delphox is, obviously depending on the ability, it will probably change functionally how it wants to play. I can imagine just this being just a solid, all-around Pokemon. I think this would probably be, I don't know if it's a better Nasty Plotter than Greninja is, or something like Calm Mind, but it could do the job very similarly. It just does a lot of damage. But obviously, I think it would be much better as a size spam sweeper.
Right.
The only thing I think that Delphox really doesn't have going for it is the speed stat, which is very, very good until you get to Generation 9.
Yeah, because obviously we don't know the format that we're going to have champions for, right? Like, we know the Megas are coming back, but we don't know if Flutter Mane and Chien-Pao will be legal on the very first rule set,
Dear
right?
God.
So, hopefully not. I definitely, prefer the regional dex formats a little bit more. So, if we're rating off a regional dex format, I really think it could probably be A. If it's
I would probably put top of B or A minus because I would say Delphox has the same issues pre and post Mega, which is not a bad thing. But being weak to arguably the best Pokemon in the game, and now not having the ability to like do Terra fighting, Terra Blast or something like that to deal with Incineroar, you're still susceptible to something like Snarl, and I would say being Dark Weak is kind of like a massive problem. In modern VGC, I would argue there are just so many Pokemon like King Gambit or just again Incin that just cause you problems, and you can't really slow down to stop them. And again, there's no way to Terrastalize.
Yeah.
But I think again in a regional dex format, this could be a big threat if there's an accompanying Psychic Terrain partner.
Chesnaught, the only move it got from CA is growth. So not a huge buff moveset-wise.
This poor sack of something. I don't know how to describe it. This dude just it's frustrating.
Yeah, I mean like the defense set is really nice, but then the speed set's like really abysmal.
let's start there, yeah. The stats I actually really like because Chesnaught, I would say, it fundamentally fits the Pokemon very well. Chesnaught has never been one I would argue to be good, though. People were messing around with it in Reg H as like a belly drum sweeper. The biggest issue with that is that you can't really do that with Mega because you are obviously losing your held item slots. You can't really contribute back to recovering. Grass fighting is just awful. This just gets hit by everything. You get hit by like what, like 7 or 8 types, or probably like much more. I'm probably just under exaggerating, but we don't know its ability yet. Could just be bulletproof again. Could just be something much more broken to counteract its massive issue here. Like Filter, I guess, is not bad to help out with that. But like, I would imagine if this thing's getting blasted by a hurricane anyways, it's probably either taking 80 or just going straight down, depending on the Pokemon.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine the typing helps it out a lot. And Chesnaught doesn't really get the best moves either. Spiky Shield is a nice option. Leech Seed's good for stalling, but Venusaur is also just better at that second grass type that we've encountered with this issue. I would say fundamentally just not a particularly good typing, and the stats aren't bad, but they're not going to help it live longer.
So I mean, I 100% agree. I mean, like, Grass Fighting's a pretty abysmal typing. You're weak to Fairy, you're weak to Flying, Ice, Fire. He does get Body Press. I was going to mention, like...
I'm not contribute my Mega to Body Pressing.
I think he might have to join the other Grass type. Just, like...
Yeah,
I don't know, like... yeah, he's in the bin, like...
He's going down there.
Like, Grass is not the best typing, and you're adding the Fighting with it, and then, like... I feel like if you want to run a support Pokemon, a lot of other Pokemon get Zygarde and Faint and whatever, right? I feel like this Chesnaught is not going to really cut it. So... yeah,
I would agree.
Next we got Hawlucha. Hawlucha's only new move from ZA was Air Slash, which obviously doesn't benefit at all, considering it's a physical attacker. So we're kind of working with its old moveset here, and I mean, I guess Hawlucha has a few different cool sets. I mean, it's a fighting flying type. You get
all of which require a held item.
I remember you made a tweet that you said that, I can't wait to use Unburden Acro,
Unburden boosted acrobatics,
but then, sadly, it's holding a Hawlucha so the Unburden Acro strat will not work anymore. So Hawlucha's main thing, which actually Sneasel kind of stole its role in Reg H with Close Combat Acro set. Oops. So the question is, like, what does Hawlucha do then? I actually don't know. I don't know. Like, the attack set's good. The speed set's like okay, but like there's a lot of fighting types that kind of have a similar kit in a way. And I'm kind of wondering like what does it do better?
I kind of agree. This is one of those Pokemon, again, like kind of throwing it in the Greninja pool, where it's like I can see this being a really good setup Pokemon if someone really tried. But to go back to Chesnaught again, the fighting type is not really doing it any favors offensively here. Like, you get really strong defensively, excuse me. You get strong close combats offensively, but like nothing else really.
Right.
And that, I would say, if you're going to be an offensive fighting type, generally it's kind of just better to be a glass cannon to begin with. Like, Life Orb Koraidon is an amazing example. Sneasler is a really good example. I could see this working in certain conditions with Swords Dance. Something like Tailwind can also be really cute with it. Like,
no, I'm pretty sure it lost Tailwind in Scarlet and Violet.
Oh my god, bro. Okay, well... So, I was gonna say, yeah, it could have used Tailwind if it got it, but since it doesn't anymore, I actually don't know what this thing does besides click Swords Dance and like Prey. Offensively, flying and fighting are both nice types to have, but just like defensively combined, they are very frail. If it doesn't have like cute utility moves like Tailwind, like I would say, Zard Y could do like a similar thing where like it's just an offensive powerhouse and then it can just like click Tailwind on its off turns. If this can't do anything resembling that and it's all just like, okay, click Swords Dance, go burr, I can't see it doing much.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, if it had Tailwind, I would have put it maybe a little bit higher because, Tailwind's really good utility in VGC. Like, Hawlucha setting up and stuff, I'm like, a lot of Pokemon can do that as well. So I feel like, I mean, as a Glass Cannon, people would maybe try it. I don't know, like, compared to, like, Delphox and Greninja, it's definitely not the best setup sweeper, like you mentioned. But, like, it's definitely gonna be the lower end.
I think if it got something like Defiant, it could be good. Like, I think a lot of people were kind of throwing that around conceptually. Like, you don't know what ability it's gonna get, but Defiant kind of seems like a dead ringer. Or some boosting ability, just because it's like a wrestler Pokemon.
Right.
I could see it being better with Defiant, just to punish things, but everything with Defiant is good because it's Defiant. Like, it's just
right.
Like,
yeah, I guess like maybe the ability can make it really shine, but yeah, like based off everything you kind of said, it doesn't feel that great to me.
It doesn't feel too amazing. So
Yes,
I don't know. Probably like D. It's tough. I don't know.
We put him D. We put him D. No, we don't got sure.
Put him in D.
I think the way we say that, like he doesn't really have much going for him, so I'm gonna say that.
Yeah.
We probably put him D.
Oh God, here we go.
Malamar makes me sad because it got some cool moves.
No.
Close combat is strong. It did get close combats.
This
for the ZA
is the
moves.
most embarrassing Pokemon they've ever made.
Yeah, so like CC Contrary, you probably just might as well not Mega Evolve this guy. You evolve, and if it loses a Contrary, then like what's the point of getting a close combat? I feel like we don't know obviously the ability just yet, but like the stats as well. It's very mediocre.
It's so bad. It's not like what is it? Because like you don't look at Malamar. I don't think anyone has ever looked at Malamar stats in the history of competitive Pokemon. Because I'm looking at these things right now, and there's no way Pelipper has a higher stat than anything Malamar's got going on.
Oh no.
That's just depressing. You get to Mega Malamar, and it's just like, what? How is this a plus 100 addition to its BST? Like, where did it go, bro? Mega Malamar is just bad, I think, outright. People are gonna say, like, it's gonna get a busted ability to counteract it. I just don't even think that's gonna matter anyways. Like, I just don't think it's worth wasting your Mega slot on a Pokemon that's best stat is 120 in Spadef. It will die to U-turn regardless. I don't care. I don't care if it sets up Trick Room automatically.
I 100% agree. I don't have any faith in this guy, but like I don't think there's much more to say besides like CC's a cool addition, but for a Mega, I don't know. Right? Like,
dude,
yeah. Dragonite only got Warwin from ZA, which doesn't really matter, but I think this one's real interesting because they made it a special attacker.
This is a fascinating. Mega Dragonite is a very weird direction that they took. Funnily enough, I can see it working. The biggest issue I think I have with it is very similar to Mewtwo, where Mewtwo has insanely good stats in its Mega forms, but you will come to realize very quickly, if you haven't already by being on the internet for the last decade, normal Mewtwo actually just hits harder than either of its Mega forms with a Light. I am very, very afraid that this Dragonite is going to fall into the same game. If you're dedicating your held item slot to that, and you don't have something like multi-scale once you Mega Evolve, I can see this being a little problematic. And again, if regular Dragonite hits harder physically without a Mega Stone, which it already does because it loses attack when it Mega Evolves, I could see this one being thrown to the wayside very quickly, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But it's just like, normal Dragonite is already so good at what it does that it's very hard to, even in a new, take this Pokemon in a new direction.
Yeah, no, I agree. Because like Dragonite has like a really good special move pool, but its physical moves it's got before that it's used mostly in the past, right? Has been like, phenomenal, right? Like Choice Band, Outrage, Choice Band, Terra, Normal, E-Speed. I mean, obviously we're probably not gonna have Terra. In Champions right away, but like like all those like things you add up with it makes it hit harder than Mega Dragonite at the moment.
Like I could see the speed stat buff being nice. Like going from 80 to 100 is actually pretty solid, but that does not stop like a lot of notable threats to Dragonite.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, like, even just the most obvious one, Garchomp, which I would say is still faster than you by 2 points. I would say there's probably a few that I'm actually forgetting as well that are special attackers that could just Ice Beam it to death instantly. But yeah, I can't imagine that unless it gets something like multi-scale or a very good ability to help cover its defensive like routes as good as Dragonite normally does within focusing multi-scale, it's going to be very tough to justify.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a really big fan of Dragonite. Like, I've used it to a bunch of tournaments recently, and I mean,
that makes one of us.
Yeah, I've been running the Scale Shot set as well too. But yeah, if you're running your Mega Slot, you can't run that loaded dice.
You can't Scale Shot. Yeah,
you can't Scale Shot anymore unless you're really lucky. I actually lost a local finals today because I knocked off his loaded dice and he still 5-hit me 2 times. Oh so so maybe you can still get away with it with the Mega, but again, like, because with the new stat structure, its special attack is kind of more convincing to use. Where I mean, you can probably still run physical moves on, like E-Speed's still very good utility or a strong move.
It's not bad as a third move.
Yeah, so like maybe you can still do it, but I don't know, I feel like it's kind of doing too much. Like, mixed attackers is kind of a trap, right? So
Death Sentence.
Yeah, Death Sentence.
Another notable thing I think as well is that, like, normal Dragonite doesn't have accuracy issues for the most part. if you're just running like Choice Band or something like that, like Choice Band or Assault Vest, they don't have to deal with inaccuracy. Mega Dragonite will almost certainly have to deal with that because its 2 strongest moves, Hurricane and Draco, are both inaccurate. And you can do things like run Rain to counteract that. Some people were throwing around the idea that it will get No Guard as its ability to make those a lot easier to utilize.
Mm-hmm.
But if it gets No Guard, then it's not getting a defensive thing. And it's obviously that's arguably even worse for it because now it can't dodge anything, which makes it much harder to do Dragonite's job. So again, it's just one of those things where normal Dragonite on paper for it right now seems much more consistent at what jobs it wants to do. And Mega Dragonite is kind of struggling to find what jobs it wants to do.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Like, I feel like, yeah, regular Dragonite feels a little bit more consistent, and because we don't know the ability yet, and based off everything kind of mentioned, I kind of hurts me to put it. Like, I think he might be C tier. Like, obviously he's like a really great Pokemon, but like, just based off everything we talked about.
Its stats are good enough to carry it above the rest of these guys, and its move kit, like its kit is amazing. It's got great utility. It's got good offense, but it's just not doing anything that Dragonite can't already do physically. And especially it's being outclassed by so many Pokemon that don't encounter these issues.
Yep, exactly. Next we got Scrafty, and he's got some interesting new moves. Diamond Punch, definitely not probably going to be very prominent, but Parting Shot, that's obviously going to be a big one.
Massive win.
Considering that he shares a pretty similar ability and with Incineroar, so you Fake Out and Parting Shot. So like that's pretty good. There's no denying that. The question is, can he keep up with it? Because I think Dark Fighting is a little bit of a worse defensive typing than Fire Dark, right? So very not good dying to any fairy move, right? So
Scrafty has always been a very interesting Pokemon in compared to me. I mean, before Incin came along, this Pokemon was fairly common and pretty good. Mega Scrafty's a little weird. Scrafty has historically been a very supportive attacker. Like, it's been a supportive offense. Its stats, if you look pre-Mega, are very allocated to doing that. Except for its HP stat. Its HP stat is abysmal for this job. It gets really, really good defensive stats. Like, it has 135 in both of its defenses, which is really amazing, even though its HP is so low. But this is one of the few times, I think, where it kind of compromises because its HP is so low. It will be able to tank a fair amount, especially with Intimidate pre-Mega. And its attack stat is pretty great. 130 for that is a fair trade, and the speed boost is fairly nice as well. The biggest issue is that it's kind of a far transition from what Scrafty does, and I'm not exactly sure if you want to contribute your Mega slot to that. We've had Megas in the past before, like Mega Manectric, which have been really, really good, especially when it comes to just like playing control and like slow pivot games, which Scrafty can now do thanks to Parting Shot. Intimidate pre-Mega is pretty fantastic, we've seen evidently from something like Salamence. And if it gets the right ability, it can do a lot, but I imagine it's going to be a lot harder to kind of weave this one in and out, especially because Electric is a much better typing just on its own than Dark Fighting when it comes to, I'm going to get like on and off the board very quickly, and whatever attacks I take, I can intimidate and snarl my way through. Scrafty's gonna have a much bigger like issue dealing with fast fairies, or even fairies that are just faster than it in general, because it's not that fast to begin with.
So I guess like based off everything you're saying, like it kind of seems like Parcha obviously is a really big buff for it, but like for the Mega itself, it might not really like completely benefit from it, especially like, once you remove your Intimidate ability, and you can't pivot as easily as Minestric. And we like mentioned, I think that's like a really good example. And like if you pivot out and then you lose your Intimidate, then like what's the whole point as like a really good pivot, right?
Yeah, it's tough.
So
I like I said, I think baseline Scrafty is actually probably going to be an excellent Pokemon. If we get something like a Kalos regional dex, which I kind of really hope we don't, because this regional dex is really bad. But like maybe the DLC will change things. I can see this Pokemon having some potential there, I would argue. I think out of the Megas we've shown off so far, I would actually probably say this one has the most potential. And obviously it's going to depend a lot on its ability. Like I would say pretty much all of these rankings can kind of be with an asterisk up in the air because we don't know abilities yet. But I feel like just judging off of like what they've done so far with the Pokemon, what they've given it, I wouldn't be shocked if it got a pretty good ability. Or either that or it just kept Intimidate outright.
Yeah, I feel like if it keeps Intimidate, it's definitely going to like B tier for me. I would agree. But like if it like based off like assuming like it loses it like we talk about Salamence and such, then like I kind of want to pick me a little bit lower than that, because like it makes it like a much harder to like again reposition and such. Next we got Drampa though. Obviously Whirl and Body Press are probably not like gonna be crazy on it, but just get Earth Power now.
Earth Power is a big one.
That's a really big one, considering that you're a Dragon normal type, which means your coverage versus steel types are quite low. For some reason I can't show all the moves, but yeah, you've Draco, you've Earth Power, you've Hyper Voice, right? That's probably going to be a pretty decent like moveset on it. It gets a few cool abilities. I mean, I don't think Berserk will be a main one on it. Like I can see Sap Sip or Cloud9 probably being more on a pre-mega at least.
I would say all of its abilities have been fairly good. It was viable and legal at the same time in one format, and that was 2017. And what is it? There it was just a Trick Room sweeper. Some people used it on hard Trick Room just with specs to do as much damage as possible. And those Hyper Voices really hurt back then. Like that and Draco Meteor, just doing a lot. The stats are nice, but I just, again, it's not enough of a buff to be like, all right, everyone, let's stop running normal Drampa and run Mega Drampa. I think it also helps that, or what is it? It's tough because the speed doesn't change either. So Drampa is doing the same thing before and after a Mega evolves, like,
right,
and not in like a good way.
No, yeah, I think that's like an excellent point. Like the fact that the speed doesn't change, it's only special attack, and like again, like Mewtwo, you throw in a Life Orb, it's stronger than the Mega. Right,
yeah.
So I think that what Drampa really needs is a good ability to consider being it higher, but like the issues like we don't know the abilities, like for some reason, or ZA doesn't have any of the abilities, so it's mostly theory here, but we have all the stats, we can see the moves at least, but because of that, I mean, it's really hard to like rank officially. Like if it has a decent ability, it could definitely be a lot higher, but like if nothing's changing with it, I don't really know like
yeah, like its stats aren't bad. Like I like the buff to its defenses. Drampa's got 78 HP. It's not atrocious, but like
I don't think we can like really put it very high. Like I was thinking it's probably gonna be like, although it's a very like decent mon, like the fact that we don't know the ability and that like the speed set has stayed the same, and like the fact that again like you can add more multipliers outside the Mega makes me kind of put it just like probably in D tier, just till we know more information.
That's fair. I think I would probably put it at the bottom of C, just because like Drampa fundamentally was not a bad Pokemon at what he did. Okay. Whereas like I would put the rest of these guys as kind of like be for real. Like what are we doing?
Well, sure. I guess we should put Drampa next to the Malamar. Or
no.
Yeah. Next we got Emboar. Emboar only got Flame Wheel, which actually is not really much for it, because it does get Heat Crash, and it does get Flare Blitz, so it's just a really strong fire fighting type, really strong attack stat, high HP stat. Defensively, it's not like crazy, but it hits like a truck.
I would say I actually like this Pokemon. Emboar's always had very weird stats, I would argue. Like, it's a mixed attacker that very much reads like a physical attacker. This does that job slightly better, and I know we were just like digging on a lot of Pokemon for like being these weird mixed attackers. I think here it's not nearly as bad though. To me, it's like the same way like Metagross gets like special attack when it Mega Evolves. This is a Pokemon that is a lot more offensively, like physically offensively oriented now that it has Mega Evolved though. I think the addition to its attack is pretty nice. It's not like insane, but it's not like bad either. Nice defense boost, good Spadef boost, and the speed boost itself actually isn't that bad. I can see this working in big air quotes on something. I don't know what, I don't know how. You could probably just expect a wolf video at some point or another using this Pokemon.
That's true, because that was his boy, right? He was the one using Emboar, so yeah.
But like, I see it now. I'm like, if it gets the right ability, I can see this doing like if it got like Tough Claws or something.
If it got Tough Claws, that'd be actually really strong. Yeah,
like I think it would be very interesting. I feel like I'm giving Emboar a lot more benefit of the doubt than I did a lot of these other guys, where I was like, oh, this is just a death sentence. This sucks. But like, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, I agree in a sense where I think it can be better than Hawlucha, because like you mentioned, like fire damage is hard to find, right? Especially like fire physical damage, because it's really just like Incineroar.
Yeah.
It's really the main one. So I feel like Emboar kind of gives it competition at least as a, attacker, right? Yeah. So like I think like of all the mons, like it's not like awful, but I don't think it's definitely like it's like not amazing. I think it's like probably like below Drampa in a way, where it's like we don't know a whole lot about it. I think the ability, like if it's like Tough Claw or some like really damage boosting thing, like maybe it's worth considering, because it does have like a lot of strong moves.
Good. Defiant obviously is a great ability I gave it. The other one I was thinking of was Scrappy, just because an Intimidate block is always helpful. Like if you're not gonna be ignoring Intimidate with Defiant and getting a +1, next best thing you can do really is just outright ignore it.
Next we got an interesting one, Meganium. Didn't really get any crazy moves. Well, I mean, I got some good ones. I mean, like
it's a fairy type.
We're ignoring Leaf Blade. It doesn't get Moonblast, sadly, but Deagleam is better than nothing. It does get Earth Power too, which is good coverage, of course, to hit the Steel types, which it's not weak to. This is a weird one, because, like, it actually has a pretty good special attack stat. I guess the ability is going to really matter with it, but, like, I guess, like, Meganium has not really ever seen VGC play before, right? So it's kind of hard to kind of compare it to anything, right?
It's tough. I think the closest that this thing probably gets to me, to anything, is probably, like, a topic, because Grass Fairy, similar to Bulu.
Right.
Coco, for instance, didn't get Moonblast. It just got Dazzling. Meganium is weird. Grass Fairy is a particularly nice typing offensively. It's not amazing, I should stress. Sludge Bomb weakness is just insta-kill. Poison in general is just insta-kill. With the Fire, Steel, Flying, Ice, just a lot of things in general. But it's not awful either. Like, I think it's a pretty well-rounded type. The buff to special attack is massive. This just goes from being a awful mixed attacker to very clearly a special attacker. Although I don't know exactly what Meganium is going to be doing. I think, again, this one heavily depends on the ability. Just because Meganium just has 2 trash abilities to begin with, I could see this one getting something like Solar Power. And if it does, then it's going to be really, really strong. I could also see it getting like Grassy Surge or whatever. Like, I think all the stats are actually in the right spot for this guy. In the right place, right time, right format, could be not nearly as bad.
The only thing like I can really say about it is like, it's definitely way better than regular Meganium. The special attack bump, I guess that's understatement, because Meganium is pretty bad.
It's some day one, finally.
Yeah, they won. I think it's gonna really be ability dependent, but like as a buff all around, I think like for a Mega, like this is like a huge thing. Like a lot of the Megas we mentioned earlier, like Drampa doesn't really do much for it, and I think like Dragonite and stuff like that. But I think Meganium, I don't think it's like that trash. It's definitely not Victreebel or Malamar tier. Like, till we know more information about it, I think it's probably lower end of C, just to like know more. But like as a buff and as a given to fairy typing and just like an all around solid stat spread, I think that it can probably just be like lower end C for now. Next we got Feraligatr, and it didn't get any new moves, but this one's quite interesting because it also gained a new typing similar to Meganium. We got the Dragon typing, so it shares the type of the Dracovish, which is kind of cool, I guess. But there's no Fishious Wren, assumingly. It didn't get that, so I mean, 160 attack is very, very good. At least in singles, people bring the Dragonite set with Sheer Force, and that was really strong with Life Orb. The question is, like, what ability will it get? And I guess, like, it does get a lot of pretty decent moves to set up. Like, I'm assuming, like, people probably use it as a, like, more setup kind of sweeper. Maybe similar to how we talked about Greninja and Delphox earlier.
Yeah.
When we setting up, because, like, based off, like, its move kit and the Dragon Dance, right? And even Swords Dance kits as well. So, yeah.
I think out of the 3 starter megas, this one probably has the most potential, but like the least possibility. I don't know. That's like a dumb way to phrase that. They're kind of like the same thing, but like it probably has the least space for innovation. But I think there's a few ways that you could probably build this that make it the scariest of them all. You can't innovate on the set very much, but the team itself that like this Pokemon could be positioned in, I think could be really dangerous. Historically, Pokemon like Kingdra, Palkia, Dracovish have all been pretty good at what they do. Defensively, it's not a bad typing. I just think, like, it's tough because it doesn't really get a lot of stats outside of attack. It gets plus 55 to attack, plus 25 to its defense, and then plus 10 to its other 2 special stats. It gets no speed, which is weird, but, like, I think it could kind of be curbed with Dragon Dance. It's not necessarily the end of the world. I could see this Pokemon being very strong on specific rain composition.
I mean, it gets a lot of cool moves, but like the speed set's very lackluster. Like, I don't think it's gonna be like as flexible as some other megas. Like you mentioned, it's kind of linear what it does. It's gonna set up if you can do it. Of course, again, like, if you can support that well, and again, like a Timid's gonna really screw it over. Maybe it gets an ability that can block it later, but yeah, we don't really know much about it, and I feel like based on what everybody said, it's probably like, I mean, it's not awful because like Dragon is obviously a top of B.
No, I think it's top. I think top of D. Oh god, top of B would be insane.
No, you said top of D. You said.
Yeah, top of D. I like how we put nothing in A so far, and it's like an hour and a half into the video. nothing is good.
Nothing is good. I think that's the lesson: is that choose your mega wisely. But also, like, if you want to prove us wrong, that's what this video is also for.
Yeah, you can comment in the comments below and increase Justin's interactions.
Yes.
With that algorithm.
We need to have more rage bait picks, and we say something more mean about them to get more interactions. No, I'm just kidding.
Then let's move on to our next guy because this guy is perfect.
This guy is interesting.
This might be our first winner of the video.
Yeah, 175 special attack is pretty nuts compared to Chandelure's. What did it have before? It had 145. Okay, well, that's
It had the highest special attack of any non-mega Pokemon. Like, I think any non-fire. It may have been any non-mega, non-paradox.
It didn't really get any interesting moves. Like, I think it got Heal Block and stuff. That's not really VC viable, but it gets some pretty good moves, like Trick Room. I know people have.
I would say Chandelure's always had a very excellent, like, very. It always gets a ton of cool stuff. Gets things like Energy Ball. It gets like a ton of fire moves, a ton of ghost moves. Trick Room's always a cool one. Gets Imprison, which is a cute tech. Gets Haze. HP stat is really bad. Base 60 is not that good. Its defenses kind of make up for it. 110 on both is not bad, especially on what was usually considered a pretty offensive class game. Usually you would be running Focus Sash or you'd be going all in with something like Life Orb. But like this special attack stat is downright monstrous. This is illegal. Like, I don't know how this happened. This special attack stat is too good not to be solid in some way. There's no way that this Pokemon is just bad. Getting access to, like, Overheat off 175 special attack is just absurd. Everything you throw out is going to be hitting very hard. And I imagine this is even a Pokemon kind of similar to Fluttermane, where its HP stat is kind of awful, but you could just invest in its HP stat and its defensive stats if you want to, because its special attack is so high.
Right, we don't even need it for that much. We can go way lower than this.
Yeah, and I think I think the speed boost here is actually quite nice. It's obviously it's not a lot, but 90 base speed is still really good. I could see this guy being very strong, especially just as a kind of slap on teams like Mega Pick if there's no real dedicated pick.
I mean, with that being said, I mean, like, if it is the biggest winner, I think we might have our.
I would say either A or top of B, because the next few guys that we're getting into, I think, are actually like pretty notable.
Yeah.
If we want to be generously, I'll just put it at bottom of A. I feel like Delphox and Greninja are kind of like potential man. And like Chandelure just does damage. Like that's just damage, man.
That is damage, man. Next we got Scolipede, and I don't get this because he had speed boost before, and Scolipede had a pretty decent speed stat I think before. It was what was that? Scolipede had, yeah, it went from 112 to 62.
It dropped 50 speed.
50 speed, and its best ability beforehand was speed boost, I would say, of all these. So this is quite the change. I mean, you do have a lot more in defense and attack, but I think like the fact that it's still like buff poison is interesting. Like I really thought like maybe get the steel typing with the armor it has, but yeah, I don't really know. Like it got U-turn and Gong Shot, which is a good buff to its move kit, but I don't know how I feel about this mon at all.
I can see it getting an interesting ability. Honestly, something that someone told me that they were like, it might just keep speed boost, and then you just start speed boosting anyways, outrunning anything in due time. If anything, I think it's nice that Scolipede has pretty solid defenses. Again, though, it's got base 60 HP. And unlike Chandelure, it's not going to be moving nearly as fast with such a nice widespread variety. Fire and Ghost hits a lot. Bug and Poison also hits a fair amount, but there are things like Ghost types.
Steel types is a big one.
Yeah, Steel types especially. Just hard wall you. Scolipede can find itself roadblocked by a lot of things. It has some nice attributes, but it doesn't exactly get there immediately with everything it wants to do, and I could see it kind of falling to the wayside very quickly.
But I have a lot of doubts. I do think that...
I unfortunately do. It has one of the best designs. It's definitely one of the winners in that regard, but I'm not sure how this guy will fare. Oh boy. Alright.
Drill. This is a fun one, because 165 attack is a lot. It also got a reasonable speed boost compared to its what stats it had before. It had 88, so reasonable,
already
very reasonable speed boost, very reasonable attack boost here. I think what's gonna be real interesting is like Drill beforehand was mostly on Sand Rush, so it was usually paired with Tyranitar. You get the +2 speed, you outspeed everything really, and that was really good for it. But it always had the Focus Sash item.
I'm gonna just say this outright. I think Excadrill is the biggest winner of the entire patch. Because I think fundamentally Excadrill is a very good Pokemon to begin with. Everything that Excadrill does post-Mega is just better. Excadrill is one of those Pokemon that's always fought for items. Very much with its partner. A lot of the Pokemon that Excadrill pairs itself with kind of want items that do similar things, or it wants them offensively to kind of compensate for what, like okay, Excadrill's doing this, I want to be able to either like pair that up with nice offensive damage, or like some way to kind of be like, alright, well if Excadrill goes down, it's not my Excadrill Mega gives it its own unique item, which it never has to fight for, which is great. It gives it a massive buff to its defense, which is very appreciated because it has 110 HP. And even though Ground and Steel is a fairly like susceptible type to a lot of things, you can like bulk it up fairly well. Like that's a lot of HP to work with. And having 100 flat defense is great. It makes the 65 special defense barely noticeable when you have that good of stats in the other departments. And like as we mentioned already, Sand Rush is an excellent ability because it complements, obviously 88 base speed is not ridiculously fast, but it is fast enough to outrun a lot. 103 speed, it basically means that like if this thing is Sand Rush, it will outrun literally everything. And I can see this Mega specifically being like, I think again, it's the biggest winner of the bunch. I think this has the most potential for just causing havoc. Like 3 attacks is strong, Swords Dance is strong, bulky sets are strong, Glass Cannon sets are strong. No matter what it's doing, Excadrill is always going to do what Excadrill has done, and it's going to do a lot of damage. Like very fast, very slow, doesn't really matter. I think regardless, this is a massive winner.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, like I didn't realize how the defense boost was so big on it, because like that going from 60 to like 100, right? That is really big. Because like I always found that like Sash Drill sets, like even though that high HP set it had before, like it always would drop in a few hits, right? Yeah. And now with reasonable bulk, and you can even add more bulk to it, because now you don't have to invest into like going all on attack, and because you would have Focus Sash before, right? But now you said like other mons can fight for it, and you have your own dedicated item, and again having that attack boost and all its other boosts and speed boosts is real beneficial for it. And I think if it keeps Sand Rush as well, gets to be a phenomenal Sand Sweeper. So
I agree. I would say like a lot of the. Oh, sorry, go on. My bad.
I was gonna say, yeah, I agree with your points. I think that it's one of the better Megas. I mean, probably like the best one we covered so far.
I could see this Pokemon being a lot more versatile than Excadrill already is to begin with. Like, I think you could do something like base form be Sand Rush, so that way you can outrun a lot of things, and then when you're ready, or the opponent doesn't outrun Excadrill once it Mega Evolves, just Mega Evolve and go for Sand Force boosted attack, so that's going to do a lot of damage. I could see this guy just doing so much, and I think it has a lot of potential, and I really hope they don't screw it up with some awful ability.
I hope so too. Alright. This guy's is kind of fun, because Barbaracle...
Oh my god.
This was interesting, because it got Waterfall in close combat, which is cool. Close combat's a big one. Only drawback is the defense drop, but that's kind of whatever. This guy does get Shell Smash, right? So
yes,
that's quite interesting. I think as a...
That's so interesting.
Well, for 140 attack and pretty decent speed, and also like has like decent defensive despite that. Like obviously after Shell Smash you're dropping that, but like with the right support, Rock goes kind of hard, right? And
Yeah.
also, I just realized he lost its water typing. So, like, yeah, Rock fighting goes kind of hard. Yeah, it does hit a lot.
This is a Pokemon that has never had anything going for it besides Shell Smash.
Right.
Arguably, which makes the Mega even more notable. If you were going to do something like I've said, we previously already mentioned with Greninja, where it's like, you know, I can kind of see this guy being like Mr. Setup, and he's like, "Hi, I'm Mr. Setup, and I have 5 guys that help me redirect attacks away from Mr. Setup, and the Mr. Setup wins the game." This guy is Mr. Setup. This guy is going to click Shell Smash, and he's going to click Rock Slide on both your guys.
That's gonna be scary.
It's like, yeah, Rock Slide and Close Combat on one Pokemon is kind of like, yeah, a little terrifying. I think the only thing that is notably holding it back is that Rock Fighting is a pretty abysmal type in terms of defensive potential. You're just weak to everything.
Yeah.
Like, I think literally just everything. I don't know what. I think your only resistance is Normal and Bug, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, and Fire, my bad. If the opponent has a way to get around redirection, this guy is dying instantly. Fighting is better for just, like, again, launching close combats and Rock Slides across the field, but if you ever run into Dazzling Gleam, well, you're just cooked. Like, you're just dead. Like,
yeah.
You'll see this guy probably a lot week 1 before people start realizing, like, one Dazzling Gleam and I'm dead. Like,
right. I think it's sort of around the Emboar and Meganium tier, where it's like,
I would argue that, yeah.
Like these guys like all are like kind of like strong attackers in their own way. I don't know. Like I think yeah, like Rock fighting is really strong offensively, but really bad defensively. So I think that if you have the right support for it, and maybe you can get rid of some of the threats, it can really pull off. And it's definitely a buff from the regular Barbaracle. I think that's like a by a long shot.
100%.
Like you much rather use Mega Barbaracle than any other Barbaracles that you can have in the past.
Are you saying Barbaracle?
Barbaracle? How do you pronounce it?
It's Barbaracle.
Oh. Dude, it's
you
like
threw a whole extra N in there, bro.
It's 1 a.m. I'm sorry.
Barbaracle.
Barbaracle.
Oh, okay. This guy sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Clefable is like, well, they gave it the Togekiss typing. It got Air Slash, they made it a flying type. Has Heal Block. That's not very relevant in VGC, but I mean. Clefable's main niche before was being like unaware, follow me, Mon.
Yeah, unaware, follow me.
And
in
then
singles, it's the Magic Guard guy that never dies.
And like I'm assuming like for VGC, you probably run like a set like this, right? Moonblast for your stab, Air Slash for your other stab, follow me for your support, probably Protect, right?
Probably.
And if that's the case, what does this do better than regular Clefable or any other follow me Mon?
Clefairy.
Right.
I'm gonna lay it down for you. This typing is awful. This typing is actually one of the worst types I think ever. Like, and it's weird because with Togekiss makes it work so well. And then I started like realizing I'm like, this just does not work with Clefable. I think notably as well, like Togekiss doesn't take up a Mega slot if you're going to use it for that, but also like. Togekiss just has the stupidest 2 abilities ever in Serene Grace and Super Long. So it's doing a lot that it doesn't necessarily need that special attack stat for. And like notably, Togekiss has pretty good bulk all around. Like it's got 85, 95, and then 115, and it's 120 in its special attack. So it's already got better defensive stats than the like Clefable, by the way. The Mega Clefable, for the most part.
So this is just worse Togekiss then.
Yeah, it's just worse Togekiss.
Alright, I heard enough. He's gotta be.
and you have to use your item slot to Mega Evolve it into a worse typing than Fairy by itself.
They're
It's
bad.
Malamar, man.
It's
It's
Malamar. Yeah. Next Mega.
Now we get to talk about a cool guy. I
Okay.
think cool at least.
Dragalge? How should I
Dragalge's
pronounce
weird.
it? Yeah, it gets Poison Jab.
Dragalge.
Does not matter, because it's a special attack. But that was the one move we got in Za. But anyways, like, it's interesting. It kind of reminds me of how, like, Drampa is, where it's like...
Yeah.
It's another slow Mega with a high special attack stat, with not
And
many
no
other
speed boost.
changes besides that. Yeah, no speed boost as well. That's funny. I mean, it's a really high speed def stat, really low HP stat, but
Yeah.
like, I mean, again, like, these stats are quite good. You probably just maximize the HP, right? The special attack's like
I think
reasonable.
I think a big selling point of the OG Dragalge was that it had adaptability to kind of counteract that. You could
Yeah.
do some pretty cool stuff with that. If it does keep adaptability, I could see this being very threatening. Poison Dragon is a really cool typing. It's unique offensively. And if it does have something like adaptability, I could, again, see this being a very threatening one. The stats are too good, and if it does have adaptability, like I would say like it's too good to be just like outright bad.
Yeah, it's definitely not bad like that, but I think it kind of just reminds me like where it's kind of like in that the dragon tier, right? Where it's like it's like another strong dragon that it's definitely more buffed than the other one. It also depends if it keeps adaptability. I think it keeps adaptability. That's a really big thing. If it loses adaptability, it'd still be good, I feel, but not nearly as like crazy as we're kind of hyping it up right now. So I'm thinking personally, it's like around the Drampa area where it's kind of similar as a Trick Room Sweeper, and with like, you know, Dragon types are good, strong Trick Room Meteor. So yeah,
that is very fair.
Next, we got Eelektross, which is
Heal.
interesting. It only got Waterfall, which, I mean, I think I had Liquidation before, which is, like, okay.
It does.
So, not much really changed. So, yeah, I mean, and it's also interesting because it's another mixed attacker, which we talked a lot before, where it's not the best.
I would say, I think a good way to phrase it is the last time Eelektross has been good in any remote like capacity is 2011, which again was a very sealed off format where you could only use Nova Dex Pokemon. It got second at Worlds that year, but like Eelektross has always kind of had a massive issue in that it is, it's pretty much just a mixed attacker, and it's not very dedicated to one stat compared to the other. The Mega has the exact same issue. It actually literally has the exact same issue because none of its defensive stats are buffed. It literally gets the exact same difference between its attack and special attack. It's 10 stat difference. Eelektross's big name to fame is that it has Levitate, so it doesn't get any weaknesses. It sure doesn't matter when you don't have like that amazing bulk though. Eelektross has like roughly the same offensive stats as most other good Megas that we've discussed so far, but it doesn't have any of the other things that they have. So it only has offensive stats, and now you need to kind of like, find a way to not only make sure that your offensive stat is good, but all your defensive stats and your speed are all like up to snuff. I'm sad because I love the Mega and I love Eelektross like on its own merit, but like just not a good Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, there's not really much more to say about it. It was like
not really.
It was like never great to begin with. It didn't really get much to begin with as well. Like it got higher stats and attacks, but again, it's mixed. I think it was maybe one side on one. Maybe it could have been a little bit better, but no buff in the defenses, just attacks, and that's really it. Next is Falinks, and it's also interesting. I mean, there's a lot of new fighting Megas, and I feel like it didn't get any new moves as well. I mean, it has close combat, no retreat. That's cool, I guess. But I don't really know. Falinks never really has seen much play before, and I don't really know how I feel about it because I feel like there's a lot of like Pokemon that do this like strong fighting role in VGC.
Yeah, this is one of those ones again where I think it's like it has stats in the right spots. It just requires a lot of setup, which has kind of been like the pin in a lot of Megas. Like I would say the linchpin in general in a lot of these Megas, where it's like, yes, if they set up, they're probably very strong. The biggest issue is that you have to now focus on setting up your Mega when they're like historically all of the best Megas are either, I would say some of them can do that, but generally the best Megas are good because they're just so good out the gate swing.
Right.
Like Falinks' whole deal is that it clicks no retreat and then it starts becoming an actual threat. And with the Mega, it actually now has the stats to do that properly. But it is still a Falinks at the end of the day, and it still has base 65 HP, base 65 depth, so like one Moonblast and you're cooked.
1 douse when you're cooked, probably.
Yeah, 1 douse when you're cooked. I think it helps at least that it's speedier, but getting no stab on like something like Iron Head or Poison Jab makes it harder to deal with its opponents, and it always is going to suffer from competition from much stronger fighting.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me like of Hawlucha, where it's sort of a, well, in a way where Falinks got buffed where the attack and speed's like really good, but like outside of doing like that, like it doesn't really support the rest of your team, right? And again, there's a lot of these ones here are kind of like setup sweepers in a way, right? And I feel like those ones might do it better than Falinks does, right? And also the issue of no retreat means you can't swap, right? You're kind of just, you are completely stuck on the field, which is like, obviously that might be your whole thing when you are trying to set up, but some cases there are sometimes we have to swap, right? And now you're limiting yourself even more. Like not only just that move, but also limit your item in your home mega slots. So,
yeah, it's just difficult.
Yeah. So like I do think he's like near Hawlucha, Scolipede, whatever, D tier, right? It's not really doing a whole lot. Yeah. So. This one's fun though. Froslass is cool.
I'm excited to talk about this one.
The only relevant move I got here from was Nasty Plot, and I think that's pretty big, right? We mentioned how Nasty Plot's a really good move when you're setting up, and I think Froslass has the stats to back it up. Really high speed stat, really high special
100%.
attack stat. You know, ice types weren't really good back then, but in addition to Scarlet and Violet, now ice types do get that defense boost from Snow Warning and Hail or Snow, whatever, right? So I think that Snow could be maybe a viable archetypal fit, or maybe it gets ability like Snow Warning. I think that'd be cool as well, or I don't know what it would be, but like I feel like it could be interesting, right?
I mean, if I'm gonna concur, like I agree.
Yeah.
I think this one has a lot of potential. Obviously, again, it depends on the ability, but I can absolutely see Snow Warning. It's cool. Like I think it might as well just have like 105 defense, 140 like special attack, 100 speed F, 120 speed. Like that's a really good stat spread, all things considered. 70 HP, like not terrible. I would say if you have Snow up. I think this one again, if it has Snow Warning, I would actually probably put this in A. I can see this one being very threatening. It's very good at weather removal. It's very good at just setting things up. It's very good at doing its own damage and being its own damage source. I can see this even though like functioning with like Ninetales or Mom Snow in regional dex formats, just being a very strong Pokemon.
It's still an ice type where it's like it's not like crazy like something like a Chenpao, like a Chenpao of an ice type. It's not really a true ice type because you like focus S and such, but like be a dedicated Mega with like frailer stats, it means you have to really protect this thing, right? And I think in the right conditions, it can be really strong, but like it still has a lot of issues most ice types would have, right? So,
I agree.
I think personally it's like C. It's like somewhere
I
there.
agree. I think it's like I think it's right there.
Yeah. Next is
What is this thing?
Pyroar is
What is this guy?
interesting. It got Earth Power. I mean, that's a decent buff. Obviously, Earth Power is a really good coverage move. It's strong Hyper Voice and Heat Wave, which is cool, I guess. But I don't really know, like, if this is any better. I mean, like let's look at Pyroar stats right now. Other one. I mean, yes, it's 109 to 129 is all right, right? But I feel like we had a strong fire special attack we mentioned earlier, like Delphox, kind of. It's faster and hits harder.
Better.
And I think Psychic Titan's probably, right? Like, I don't know. I don't really see what Pyroar does. Like, maybe if it gets like a really good ability, but like based off just like its coverage and it's just like its stats all around, I think it's definitely outclassed by other fast fire like Chandelure and Delphox, like we mentioned earlier, right?
Yeah. I think it's just like I don't get what this thing's job is supposed to be. Granted, like that might change with the ability revealed, but it's just like I don't know what we're doing here. Like, I would say, Pyroar kind of just sucked already. I think normal fire is a cute typing, but it's just not that amazing.
I would have to agree.
Like you discussed, the stats are classed by the other two fire-type megas we've highlighted so far. And this is doing nothing really notable that stands out. compared to those other two. I keep saying like yeah, there's just I'm speechless because there's nothing to talk about with this Pokemon. Pyro's a boring Pokemon. Pyro Mega's a boring Pokemon.
Yeah. I think this is probably the least amount of conversation we had with the Mega so far. There's really much to say about it. Yeah, that's okay. We're done already. We're done already. Okay, great. We move on. We know what it does. It doesn't do it very well. Starmie is funny. It completely switched up its stats. It's now a really big physical attacker. I think Starmie's physical attack before wasn't very
It's actually
great.
a mixed attacker now.
Yeah, it's a mixed attacker. It was 75
you know what
before.
Think of those.
Yeah, we know what you think about those now. Actually, I didn't realize. Yeah, it's mixed attacker too, but it got a lot of.
It's actually.
It got a lot of physical moves though. I got Zen Headbutt was the one I mentioned. Aqua Jet was also another one. It got right. Like I think those are some of the main ones. Like Liquidation was the other one for physical.
Flip Turn is the massive one.
Yeah, it got Flip Turn I think in Scarlet and Violet, and then it also got Bulk Up. Bulk Up.
What?
Which I don't know how much you can really set it up. I mean,
why can you do that?
For a physical one, I mean these are all quite good options. It does still have a great special move pool as well. Like does still have Psychic, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, whatever, Skull, Surf. Expanding Force is a good one if you want to run with Indeedee or whatever. I heard people saying that like ability-wise, it might be something like Pure Power because it's like
that is the working theory.
Yeah, I forgot what the reason for it exactly, but I saw some things like that online, which I thought was kind of cool.
I can elaborate on that just a little bit because the only in ZA because there's no abilities. The way they helped out Pokemon that would normally have some sort of double attack ability, go to War, Meditite, and Medicham, and Mega Medicham. They all get plus 40 attack to their natural stats instead of having huge power or pure power. And notably, the only other Pokemon besides like the Pokemon that previously already had it, which were like Mega Mawile, Mega Medicham, and Meditite, is Starmie.
Well, I think depending on ability, this guy could definitely be like a lot stronger. Because I mean, like, pure power with these stats look kind of nuts. Not gonna lie.
I think keep in mind it will have 100 base attack if it happens to have pure power.
Oh right. Because
So its stats will be a little dialed.
Right.
But it is a rough estimate of what it will have. And obviously the switch up on attack is a bit fascinating. I think though it's kind of cool. It lets it do a few things that a Pokemon like I would say that it wouldn't be able to do normally.
Yeah, I'm kind of unsure where to put it, like because like of how like it's a little more versatile. Than some of the mixed attackers. So
like, yeah. I think this is a Pokemon that you could utilize your Mega on pretty effectively because Rain doesn't really have a lot of those. Like I think the closest you get is like Mega Swampert, where it's obviously like a very dedicated Swift Swimmer. But this guy's a little more flexible because it doesn't have to like utilize its ability in Rain. It can use it outside of Rain as well. I don't know. Maybe like C, like right around there. I would argue.
Yes, I feel like it's kind of like Froslass in a way. Well, not exactly, but it's like kind of similar where it's like fast-ish. You hit it hard. The only difference is Starmie has like you can either go physical or special, and I guess it's not as water reliant, so it's maybe a little bit more flexible in that end. But like, it's still kind of weird in a way where it's like it's sort of glass cannon. Like 60 HP is like not very great, right? And again, like we mentioned the bulk up. I don't know how often you set that up, and yeah, I don't know.
I think I need to see it in action before like I make a final judgment call.
Okay, I forgot to mention Skarmory, but Skarmory is here, and
I love this thing. I think it's so cool.
This is actually really interesting. I actually didn't. This is my first time actually looking at stats. 140 attack's quite high. They made this guy really fast. Like very fast for being before. Skarmory was not very fast back then, so only 70.
It flips its offense like in defense.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
Nuts. I think this one is.
I guess Tailwind. This one actually has some potential. I feel a fast Tailwind user.
I agree.
This is like what I want Hawlucha to be, but sadly didn't get it. But then Tailwind, Brave Bird. It gets pretty good support moves as well. Like Taunt, Iron Head as well. Has what? It's Bulk Up, right? No, it's Bulk Up. No, it's not Corviknight. Never mind. I thought it was like Corv. It's not like Corv.
Yeah,
but yeah.
It gets Sword Dance. But
yeah.
I think it got that in ZA, which is a nice buff. I particularly like this one. I think Skarmory is really cool. Steel Flying is an excellent type. That was initially marred, I would argue, by Skarmory's low BST, at least in doubles. Corviknight usually played the role a lot better, even though it has a very similar BST, but it generally has a few more moves that it can take advantage of, like Justin mentioned. Bulk Up is the big one. Lets Corviknight basically play dual roles as both wall and offensive Pokemon. Brave Bird is pretty nice as well, and that plays in tandem with Corviknight's ability being pure armor. It just doesn't have to worry about stat drops. Whereas Skarmory's best ability is Sturdy, which means that in Brave Bird, it's just gone. It's a little tough. I think with a Mega, it's been given a second chance. And you still get that bulk pre-Mega, which gives it actually some versatility to not Mega evolve, which I think is really cool. I could see this getting a lot of crazy abilities that can make it a lot better than it seems on the surface right now. This one, I think, has a lot of potential. It has the right moves to be a nice support Pokemon, but at the end of the day, it has that big issue that a lot of support Megas fall into, where it's like, why would you ever use this over an offensive Mega that's a lot more serious? I would imagine Skarmory's going for a lot of Brave Birds and Iron Heads to take care of things before it actually get up and get lit. It's very similar to Mega Salamence, I think.
I think this guy would be like B tier, in my opinion. Like, I think, like...
I think so.
That 110 Tailwind really catches my eye, and then that 140 attack as well. Like, I feel like, I mean, yes, you can use it as primarily a support fast Tailwinder, but like, it has a very reasonable attack stat. I think it can definitely support the right teams, and if Mega Drill's that high, I mean, like Steel Flying,
yeah, exactly.
pretty good for that too, right?
Steel a big winner in this tier listing.
Yeah, I feel like this guy has a lot of potential. Okay, last one before we get to the big guy.
Did we talk about this guy? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talk about all of them.
Do we talk about this one? Like...
yeah. I mean, Mega Floette, obviously a little bit different because realistically, I don't think we would get it in Champions immediately. I really doubt it for the last two.
I think this is gonna be stupidly enough. I think it's gonna be like a Cosmog thing where it's gonna be a restricted.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it didn't really get any crazy moves from Za, besides Draining Kiss, I guess. That's okay, but it really has a Light of Ruin. That's what it's called?
Yeah, but that's an interesting move. I can describe it in a minute. But like...
Yeah, it's the recoil move, right? That does like 10 million damage.
Yeah. It hits everyone. Everyone.
Oh, it hits everyone? I didn't know that. I actually did not know that.
It hits your partner, too. Like,
okay.
It's like half recoil. You basically will die clicking it.
Huh. That's interesting. I did not know that. Okay. Well, yeah. I don't know if it wants to because it's like the special attack stat's like really, really high, but then like, I mean, Light of Ruin is strong, but like, do you really want to be hitting everything, right? It's just like
yeah. The best way I can describe Eternal Floette is its baby form. Its stats are borderline identical in both. I think its special attack is actually
higher. No, it's higher. It's slower. It's a lot slower. Special attack, it's like slower.
But its special attack and Spadef are almost borderline, like the same as each other. I don't know. To me, it's just like, this is a cool concept, but it's held back by a few things. The stats are there though. It's tough. Like its HP and its defense aren't horrendous, and the back half of its stats are wide. The biggest issue I think comes from the fact that Floette is not a particularly like versatile Pokemon.
Any fire or steel type will wall you, and I mean,
hell.
Yeah, I mean, maybe you have answers to it. It can be really strong because, like, obviously, 155, Light of Ruin, Moonblast, that hits really hard. No, that is not.
Oh god.
Yeah, so don't think it's gonna see a whole lot of usage. I'll probably put in C for now because I think it's like too hard to put any lower because obviously, well, it's not like bad. It's not bad, but it's like there's a hole in the back, right?
It doesn't have. I don't know. I would probably put it in D because there's like all the other megas up here are at least doing something offensively and defensively.
Right.
I just don't know what you would ever be using this for. Is my big issue.
Yeah, especially.
I probably put it like in between like Emboar and like Scolipede.
Like here.
That's my personal. Yeah, like right there. I don't know.
All right.
Finally.
This is the big one. So as we know, Zygarde got a Mega. And I think it's funny. He has 5 signature moves now. So he has thousands. Oops, not Thunder Wave. I think 1,000 waves. 1,000 waves, Fountain Arrows, Lance Wrap, and Corn Firster. And when it Mega evolves, Core Mercer becomes Light,
Light never turns to nothing.
which is a 200 base power move, which by the way has more PP than Moongeist Beam. Just in case you want to spam that as many times, right? Like,
why?
Yeah, because like, why not, right? And I saw a post on Twitter from Temp here, and Zygarde here literally has more special attack than max special attack Deoxys with attack IVs. Okay, he has nothing here.
Dude.
Still has more. They clearly weren't thinking. Like, this guy is ridiculous. Also, to mention that its signature move hits fairy types. The dragon move.
They hated Xerneas. They were like, we gotta make this dude work.
Yeah, no, this is ridiculous.
Zygarde is a weird Pokemon in competitive. The most success that this guy has had prior to probably what's incoming has been in 2019 Sun and Moon series. Not Ultra, just Sun and Moon. Its best thing that it did usually was it would sit next to Solgaleo and Tapu Fini, and it would coil up a bunch, and then eventually when it was about to die, it would be like, okay, never mind, I'm gonna go 100% form food. Like, then it would just spam 1,000 arrows until it died. And it would either die and lose the game or win instantly. Zygarde Mega is a completely different beast, like, altogether. Back then, you would play with a Misty Seed generally and try to give it as much staying power as possible. Like, Finny would be Heal Pulse, get rid, like, Misty Train, can't status it, coil up, attack and defense boost. So, like, this thing's just never dying. And then once it, like, when we used to call it Mega evolving into Zygarde, 100% form, it would just become unkillable. And you had Solgaleo there to deal with the fairy types that you normally have problems with. But I think notably about that is that was a physical setup set. Zygarde Mega is a special attacker. And not, like, anything we've seen, or like we discussed before at that. It is a complete inversion on normal Zygarde. It loses everything that it had prior.
Yeah.
Like, pretty much just, like, I would say, it's got enough HP to counteract how low its defense. I say low, but it's not even, like, bad. It's 91 and 85, which are, like, bearable.
91, 85, 216 HP. You can't be complaining, right?
That is ridiculous. That is utterly ridiculous.
Yeah.
It looks bad on paper, I think. Because, like, when I remember when I was looking at it for the first time, and I just thought to myself, oh, it kind of gets weaker. Like, I don't want to die to Ice Beam. And then you realize, like, oh, it's 216 HP. That's more than Regidrago.
Yep.
And obviously, its defenses, I'm pretty sure, are higher than Regidrago's as well, by 40, roughly. It is fascinating. It gets a speed boost. 100 flat is nice. And then it gets the big jump, which is like, oh my god, why is it like 125? Dude, like, what on earth is this? It's 125 special attack. I think conceptually, this is an absurd. And if it was just that, just Mega Evolve, Frame 1, it would be utterly insane. The biggest drawback that Zygarde has is that it has to start in 50%.
Right.
And then get to 100% form, and then get to Mega Evolve. It is the one thing that I would argue is holding back this Pokemon completely from being an utter, like, menace. And I don't mean just, like, it would work. I think it completely cripples the Pokemon. Mm-hmm. Getting Zygarde to 100% was already enough of a hassle in prior formats. Right. Nowadays, it's a lot harder, and especially if we don't get Tapus back. And keep in mind, you can't even hold an item, because you need to hold the Zygarde, right? And until you get to 100%, you have to be dealing with Zygarde's laughably low special attack compared to its physical. And by laughably low, I mean 20 less. But it's 81 special attack, bro. Like, it's not. It ain't doing a lot.
Right.
I don't know. I think that completely puts this mon in the ground, for the most part.
I didn't even realize that, actually. I didn't realize how much of a hassle, because, like, I never played with Zygarde before, so, like, this is all new info to me.
50%? It might be 50%.
It is 50. Sure. It is 50. I looked over. Yep.
Yeah. You have to take 50% of your health, and generally, if you're taking over 50% of your health, you're in danger of getting OHKO, I would argue. So, it is a very, very finicky Pokemon to get to work.
I mean, it might be a chance where you can run 1,000 arrows at first, and then just have your...
Perhaps.
Just till you get Core Enforcer, but I'm not entirely so sure. Like, obviously, this is going to be kind of hard to kind of picture now. Because, like, I agree. It's definitely going to be kind of hard to position this thing. But, like, by default right now, I think, like, obviously, I think this, like, this Mega here is better than everything else here. But, like, how you get there is going to be the hard part. But if we're rating
it's so much tougher.
If we're ranking it by Mega
like,
itself, it's easily on top. But, like, the hassle to get to it is going to be the main biggest drawback. I 100% agree.
I would not be shocked if this was a Pokemon that got some traction, or there was a team that functioned with it well enough once we got around to a restricted format. But I think what it offers, what it does, Zygarde requires a lot of, I would argue, protect the president mentality in order to make it work, but you got to take a lot of bullets to get to its strongest.
Yes.
I would say it is just a hassle.
I didn't even think about the 50% thing and how to get it, but like, yeah, realistically, that is quite hard to achieve. But
it's the biggest crutch, or like the biggest problem that it's got going. Like it really, and I just don't know how you're getting there more often than not. Yeah,
but yeah, I mean that's all the megas. This is a very lengthy video. Might have to edit down a little bit. We'll see what happens. But I mean, I think I'm happy with how it turned out. I think that a lot of the reasons made sense, and all these megas suck ass. I'm not gonna lie. We had to skip like a lot of them are not that good.
I started realizing like, halfway through when we had like 5 left, I was like, oh god, most of them are in like C tier. Like,
yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like most of these are C and D, and then there's only a few up here that have like I mean a lot of them to C, to be fair, have a lot of potential. I feel like it will depend on abilities, but like for the most part, we could be wrong.
I think I would love to be proven wrong. Pokemon is a beautiful game where you can be. And
that's true. Yeah, definitely take it with a grain of salt. Obviously, like it's mostly speculation based off many of the stats and theory on what the mons will do. But time will tell when Champions does come out. So yeah. Hopefully this video was enjoyable. I guess it's my first Zod content. We'll see if I make any more of that. But yeah, it'll be fun to put some VGC element into it. But yeah, thank you, James, for coming on the channel. And
thank you for having me, Justin. I hope everyone posts Justin Tang swag in the comments of this video.
Justin Tang swag, please, Justin Tang swag. All right, I'll catch y'all later. Goodbye.